Greetings, my friends. It is I, Dr. Jimmy. And of course, as always, today's t-shirt. The devil is real. It's an American Horror Story t-shirt. It does fit in a bit with what I have to say. Today is the 3rd of May, Wednesday the 3rd of May. And right now, all of the Halloween Horror Nights fan community are buzzing with excitement about things that have happened recently. Indeed, there's been some interesting things going on for the past month or so, really. But let me just say, about this time last year, back in 2016, we already had 2 officially announced haunted houses for Halloween Horror Nights 26 in Orlando, and 1 officially announced haunted maze for Halloween Horror Nights 2016 in Hollywood. Because as you recall, on April 14th last year, Texas Chainsaw Massacre was announced for Orlando, and then on April 26th last year, they announced The Exorcist as a maze in Hollywood and a house in Orlando, right? And in spite of all of the hustle and bustle and excitement that's been going on recently, this year there has only been 1 official announcement for the Haunted House American Horror Story for Halloween Horror Nights 27 in Orlando, which will take 3 parts, like last year's house, but 3 different parts, 3 seasons they didn't use last year. This will be Asylum, Coven, Roanoke. Right, we know that. We've known that since March. Officially announced in March. But that's all. Everything else has not been officially announced. Yet it's been confirmed by official sources in weird ways. But no official announcement from publicity and marketing. No nice little video. No full description of what it's supposed to be. And it's very peculiar. First of all, let's get to Hollywood. Not literally. Don't get up and get on a plane. Ooh, fly to Hollywood. No. It was on, I believe, the 9th of April this year. That was a Sunday, about, nearly a month ago, about 3.5 weeks, I guess. I'm not sure. Don't want to pull my calendar back because I can't put it back up again. But, yeah, they had a thing going on in Hollywood, Pasadena, not Hollywood actually, but it's that side of the country in California, eh? Pasadena, you know, the little old ladies going their hot rods, zooming down the streets, you know, go granny go. Yes, if you get that, you're old. Anyway, there's, go granny, go granny, go granny, go. Yes, that's right. There's a thing they do there called Monster Palooza, and they did that thing last month. And then on that Sunday, the 9th of April, John Murdy, the creative director, and one of his the people that works with him or for him, however you want to look at it, with him probably more like. His name is Chris Williams, I think, and they're there, and they're talking about Horror Nights in Hollywood, and some of the things they've done recently, like American Horror Story last year, the maze they did, and then they just nonchalantly, off the cuff, just sort of mention, oh yeah, there's going to be another American Horror Story this year, and that's it. I mean, there was a press release also, at the event, which also confirmed that, yes, there will be an American Horror Story maze at Halloween Horror Nights in Hollywood, and that's it. That's it. Nothing else. They just sort of confirmed it in the most nonchalant, offhanded way. And no official announcements, nothing on the website, nothing on the Facebook page, no nice YouTube video, nothing. It's not officially announced. In fact, when tweeted about this, when inquired on tweets about it, Murdy said, oh, the details will be given when the official announcement is given. Meaning that, you know, the offhanded comment at Monster Palooza was not the official announcement. they're able to confirm. So we've had this weird thing happening, a confirmation that we know is legit because it's coming from an official source like John Murdy, the actual guy who runs Horonites, but it's not the official announcement yet, and he can't reveal anything about the house at all because that's to be given in the official announcement, which hasn't been given even yet. I mean, it's been weeks. It's been nearly 4 weeks now, nearly a month. In fact, next week, Tuesday, it'll be a month since they told us American Horror Story is going to be a maze in Hollywood, as well as the house in Orlando. We still haven't had the official announcement with the details yet. So, and that's kind of interesting because back in March, there was a young lad named Justin over in California, named Justin. He claims he's got a full list. Yes, he says, yeah, I've got a full list here. You can't write with a letter opener. Here, that's better. I've got a full list here, a full list of every maze and the terror tram and the scare zones for Halloween Horror Nights in Hollywood. Now, he claims he's got a very good inside source. It might be, I don't know. No idea. It's a bit untested. He may be right. He may be right. He may be wrong. We'll have to wait and see until we really find out for sure. But one of the things he had said was an American Horror Story maze in California, except he said it would be just Roanoke. Now, the very day he said that is when they announced in March, when they announced the Orlando house. The Orlando house, it would be Asylum, covered in Roanoke. Almost like an hour or so after he put all that out. So, if it's just Roanoke in California, but not in Orlando, is what he's saying, well, that's a good question. Is it? Will this maze for American Horror Story in Hollywood be like the Orlando house and have 3 different seasons? Will it cover the same 3 seasons, or will it just be Roanoke, like Justin's saying? We don't know. And they've asked Murdy about it, and Murdy's responses are typical of Murdy. When people ask him, is it going to be just Roanoke, or will it be different seasons? He says, that's a good question. That doesn't tell us a bloody thing, Mr. Murdy. But then he didn't want to tell us a bloody thing. He's being cagey and carny, like he always is. But they also asked him, excuse me, they also asked him what he thought about the list. And he says, oh, I never pay attention to any of those rumor sites, so I don't even know what the list is. I don't know if that's true or not, but he says he doesn't even look at the different forums, doesn't ever pay any attention to that. So he has no idea about the rumors. So how can you ask him about the... I don't know anything about those, sorry. So that's all very curious. So, we don't know yet. We have to wait until the official announcement comes, which could be as early as right now. You never know. Sorry. Had a bit of a salami sandwich earlier. Now. Some of it's still back though. But as I was saying, it could come at any time. Because Murdy says May is a good time for announcements, and it is May already, so it could happen before the end of the week, could happen before the end of the month. It will probably happen before the end of the month. Could happen before the end of the week. Might even happen before the end of the evening. Who knows? You never know. You never know. And the other thing that I've been, which of course is on the title of the video, and probably why you're looking at it, the big one happened just yesterday. And this was rather interesting, because last year, just before the 14th, Mike Aiello put out a tweet saying, you know, we'll be finding out something soon, and hashtag, oh no, not soon, hashtag, yes soon, hashtag classic. And turns out when he did that on April 13th last year, the very next day, April 14th, they announced Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Hey, so we all got kind of excited when Aiello made another tweet on, I think it was Monday, where saying, oh, you're not going to be disappointed, hashtag soon. It's like, oh my God, soon something's coming. And then yesterday, there was no announcement. And we're thinking, was it going to be an announcement yesterday? Was it going to be an announcement today? And then all of a sudden, there's a leak. A huge leak. And this is what you've probably already heard about, The Shining. And it's been rumoured for quite a while. It's also on Justin's list, by the way, for both for Hollywood and Orlando. But this The Shining's been rumoured for a bit since January because people have been speculating what checkmate might mean. I was part of that. I said checkmate, that's what you say when you take a king. That might be what it means. And I thought Shining maybe. And we've all thought about that and about the codename Charles. And almost every bloody codename coming out of Murdy for the past couple of months seems to be, the Big Chill, writer's block. I mean, it's like, are you playing with us? Because the rumor of The Shining is out there. Are you kind of teasing us with this stuff? And so we're kind of wondering about that. Is it really happening? Is it really happening? And we're not sure because we've heard for years Stephen King does not want people to do his stuff and haunted attractions. So it's like, but he's practically disowned this movie, and the rights are with Warner Brothers and maybe the Kubrick estate. So maybe they could work around King, or maybe they could do it, King would let them do it with this particular film so long as they don't mention his name or something. So that's a possibility. But we weren't sure. We were all wondering, speculating, and all of a sudden we get this leak. And allegedly there were emails sent to travel agents which included a page from a UK website, and on the page was a little blurb about The Shining coming to Horror Nights. It didn't say, now everything on that page is about Orlando, but and the blurb it says Halloween Horror Nights 2017, not 27, which could imply both Orlando and Hollywood, right? And which is a distinct possibility, and and it's written for travel agents by somebody at Universal, for a official Universal website, but being sent to travel agents so they can give the information to their clients who are booking tours to come to the United States from Britain and go to Halloween Horror Nights and tour packages and that sort of stuff. And they need to plan early. So it's understandable. And I've heard different stories as to why The Shining was supposed to have been announced officially but wasn't, but I'm not sure what it is yet, but that's getting ahead of myself. The little advert, the little blurb, doesn't mention Stephen King's name at all. It says Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, and it's only based on the movie. But it's definitely pointing to, it doesn't use the word haunted house either, or haunted maze. It says haunted environment or attraction, something like that. So it's interesting. It's written in a way it could fit both coasts. So it gives the distinct impression of being both Hollywood and Orlando. And it seems to be 100% official as far as, the source. But no announcement. No announcement. We were sort of expecting a big announcement. We didn't get one. It was sort of a leak. And then it gets taken off the UK Universal site completely before the day is over, I think within an hour or so. So there's all sorts of speculations. And some people are, why are these things being confirmed but not announced yet? Is there a problem? Now we know in the case of American Horror Story, after confirming there was going to be a maze, Murdy and Aiello met with Ryan Murphy that same weekend, and I think the next day, I think it was Monday the 10th or something, and they met with him and talked about the whole thing. So maybe it was, inevitable. They had to say it was coming because people would figure it out with Murdy and Aiello meeting with Ryan Murphy, and people would notice that, and they would realize that was going on. But for whatever reason, publicity and marketing in Hollywood haven't decided yet to officially announce it, and maybe it has to do with what season they're doing. We don't know. But with The Shining, there's different theories. One, Stephen King might get pissed. because this deal was done behind his back. Although I think the fact his name isn't on it might be a stipulation from him. You know, you can do this so long as you don't put my name on it. That's what I think that means. There's another theory that they weren't ready to release it yet, and now that it's been blurbed, they're doing damage control, which means we're either going to get an announcement very quickly, or we may not get one for a while, depending on whatever they think is the best strategy in that situation. I think releasing the information right away is the best strategy, personally. But the other is, I've heard that apparently there was some sort of child abduction Amber Alert involving twins, and for fear that would be bad publicity to have a movie with dead twins in it at the same time, they didn't want to announce it, except I can find no such Amber Alert from yesterday. You know, it was supposed to be released yesterday, and this was the last minute, and I found the only Amber Alert in Florida I found was a 5-year-old girl who was then found later in Missouri, not twins. So I don't know where that came from. I don't know anything about that, except that's one thing that was buzzing around and people were saying. So I have no idea why there's not been an announcement yet, except they're just not ready to do it. Or the worst case scenario is the whole thing was a forgery and we all got fooled. I hope that's not the case. I hope that nothing has caused the deal to fall through. Because frankly, a shining house would be amazing, and it's something that a lot of us have wanted to see for many years. So that's the thing. We sort of have confirmation of different houses and mazes, but we don't know yet officially, because they still haven't officially announced, except the one house in Orlando. One little thing I'll throw in here, because where else? There's been the first little bit about Halloween Horror Nights 7, not 27, just 7. That's Halloween Horror Nights 7 at Universal Studios Singapore. Yes, that little city-state in Southeast Asia. One of the 4 places Halloween Horror Nights happens. You know, Orlando, Hollywood, actually it's Burbank. Yes, Orlando, Burbank, Hollywood. Osaka, Japan, and Singapore, as of now. Will they have Horror Nights in Beijing? We'll have to wait and see. But right now they have 4 Horror Nights going on internationally, and Singapore, no information about Halloween Horror Nights 7, really. No information about what they're doing, what they're planning, just a call for scare actor auditions. They start last, you know, it's funny. You know, Japan starts first, then Orlando by about 3 hours before Hollywood, and then after that, the last one every year is Singapore. Last year it was in late September, but that was the earliest it ever was. Before it wouldn't start till October, but last year it got to late September. So odds are it will be the last one this year as well. But they're calling for scare actors already with a video. The video shows highlights from previous years of the event, and I recommend it. It's on a YouTube channel for Resorts World Sentosa. Resorts World Sentosa. Okay, it isn't Universal Studios Singapore. It's Resorts World Sentosa, because that's one of the primary owners of the park, in addition to Universal. And so you go there, and you can look at the video, and the video is pretty amazing. It shows lovely scenes of that marvelous event. And even though it's shorter and doesn't have as many haunted houses, it is one of the most beautiful horror nights they've ever done anywhere in the world. For 7 years now, it's spectacular because it is the one Halloween Horror Nights event that is entirely original. Entirely original. In 7 years, well actually 6, because they haven't done the 7th one yet, but in the 6 years they've done it, the only IP they did was a series of books. True Ghost Stories of Singapore by a guy, I think his name was Russell Lee. And so it's not even known outside of Singapore. It's the closest thing to an IP, and it wasn't even one of his novels that was adapted for a haunted house. He just wrote a new story, an entirely new story. That's like, for example, if they did get Stephen King, and instead of adapting one of his novels, he wrote an entirely new story just for Horror Nights. Actually, that sort of thing has happened in Hollywood. Clive Barker has created, and Rob Zombie have created entirely new stories just for houses, just for mazes in Hollywood. So Russell Lee came up with this, but he used characters from his novels, but it was an entirely new story, not one that had ever been published. And so that's the closest thing to an IP ever. Just one maze, one house, one time over 6 years. Every other haunted house, every scare zone, every show features original characters and concepts. They've borrowed Jack the Clown a couple of times, but even he's an original creation after all. He's not based on a movie. Not really, not directly. Well, maybe the Joker or Pennywise, but not really. So we've got all of these things that are, original. Completely original icons every year. All sorts of fantastic characters and creations and ideas and concepts. And a lot of stuff from Asia as well. And it's really spectacular and lovely, beautiful. And if you look at the video this year, you see the parade, Lady Death's Parade. It was a scare zone, then it was a parade, then it became a show, and they show scenes from it going through the park. And it's just, you say, oh God, I want to go to Singapore and see this. I wish I could have got there last year. So I was really exciting, although it doesn't actually give any information about this year's event yet, just that they're getting ready to call for scare actors. And I thought that was kind of cool to mention that. All right, so that's all I have for this video as far as what's coming up. And the rumors speculate. I am not yet ready to make a cocktail for The Shining until that's been officially announced, all right? Once it's officially announced, there'll be some sort of cocktail. Probably do something with rum, maybe something red. But for your patience in sitting through the video, it's already 22 minutes, I'm going to reward you with a little something right now. I'm going to close with a song. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are grey. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. And I sang that song for no good reason. Yes. Until next time, this is Dr. Jimmy and Lenny the cat. You can't see her, she's over there on the other side of the room, sleeping on a box. Sometimes she sleeps in the box, well, that's a cat for you. So, until next time, pleasant dreams.